Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 100 Pounders meeting of Overeaters Anonymous. Today is Wednesday, the 30th of October in 2024. And today I'm absolutely delighted to have Dawn B with us. Dawn first came into OA around about 1978, and she currently resides in Long Beach in California. So I am going to let her share her experience, strength, and hope now today. Welcome, Dawn. Take it away.
Oh, thank you so much, Rita. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I'm actually in Irvine, California, which is near Long Beach, not too far away, but Irvine, South Orange County, California is where I live, and am just so happy to be here with you. I am just so grateful for this opportunity to share. The only way I can give thanks to all those people who have helped me is to step up and give service. And I'm just so grateful to be able to do that for all the people who have given service for me. And they're the reason why I'm here. All those beautiful souls who, shared at meetings, who attended meetings, it's because of them that I am here today. And I am a recovered compulsive overeater. I came in when I was 19 years old, and I am now 65 years old. So that's a lot of time. But I am one of the slowest learners you'll ever come across. Um, I learn very, very slowly, and apparently need to have the same lessons presented to right in front of my face over and over again before I'm able to learn from them and act differently. So if you think about it, I really am a specialist in failure in the program, half measures, and delusional thinking. That's actually my specialty, and what I'm really, really good at. Because it took me 34 years in the rooms, in and out of the rooms. I must admit, some of those years, the only one who knew I was a member of Overeaters Anonymous was me. But I did, carry the literature around, always considered myself a member. But yeah, 34 years of coming to meetings before I was able to get abstinent for any length of period of time. So if you are, in the same boat that I was, coming to meetings year after year, decade after decade, and not getting abstinent, I'm here for you. I am here for you. And if you would please put up the picture, Rita or someone, I have a before and after picture of my precious self. The before and after picture. There it is. There it is. And the green outfit I had on, yeah, that's not my top weight. I destroyed all the pictures of my heavier weights. I was just, I felt badly about myself. And I am down, over 100 pounds. And I'm now at all thanks be to God, a slender, normal body weight. And it really is not me doing this, but it is God doing for me what I could not do for myself. I could not do that for myself. And it is absolutely a miracle of God. This program absolutely works. It absolutely does. And I am here to tell you today that if a slow learner, after 34 years of not getting the program, not being able to be abstinent, can all of a sudden become abstinent, and now it's 12 years, going on 13 years of abstinence. And I am recovered, and I am abstaining and doing so happily. So the food isn't calling to me. It's not a struggle. I'm not white knuckling it. It's simply the most loving thing that I can possibly do for myself. And I am so very, very grateful. Thank you for that. This program has saved my life. It has changed my life, transformed me physically, mentally, and spiritually. And it's an absolute miracle to be able to go into my closet and have one size of clothing year after year is just, I never thought that would be possible. I absolutely never thought that would be possible, but it absolutely is. And abstinence is just a beautiful, beautiful thing. I am contentedly abstinent. So when challenges happen, I don't even think of my alcoholic foods. They do not occur to me. How is that possible? I would never have believed that would ever be possible for me to not get to the point where I wouldn't be white knuckling it, where it wouldn't be a struggle, where it wouldn't be a hassle. But it is simply the most beautiful amends that I can possibly make to myself. And it is just a loving amends. And I continue to work the program like my hair is on fire. There's no tomorrow. I work it as if this is this is life or death. And you know what? People will ask me, what happened, after 34 years of not getting it? What happened that all of a sudden you were able to get abstinent? What is it, Dawn? What happened? And I tell them that I had to get to the point where I realized this is absolutely life or death. This program is life or death important. It is absolutely a life or death program. It absolutely changed my life. And I work this program now like there is no tomorrow. I work this program like my hair is on fire, and I absolutely, this has absolutely changed my life. I'm also a mother of 4 young adult children. 3 of them have autism. Both my sons are of the severity that they will probably never be able to live on their own. One very, very severe. And the 2 that are higher functioning also have mental illness. They have schizoaffective disorder. And my husband is a cancer survivor on a feeding tube with declining health and ongoing chronic health issues. But the truth of the matter is, I am living a life beyond my wildest dreams, not because my circumstances have changed, but because my attitude about my circumstances has been transformed through the working of the steps and through the relationship with my higher power. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. This program absolutely works, and it's a beautiful way of life. So what I'd like to talk to you today about is what excites me today about the program and what is absolutely life-changing for me today about the program. I came into this program seeking my ease and comfort from food. I wanted to feel better, and that's why I was eating. Things, problems happening, I wanted to feel better. And so I ate. I ate to numb my feelings. I ate to disconnect. I ate to, help me to try to feel better because life was too overwhelming. And so I would pick a fight with my family so I could go off alone and be with my food, because that was really my comfort. That was my solace. That was my security. I felt like I couldn't make it through the day without my stash of alcoholic foods. I could not make it through the day. I thought I would literally die if I did not have my alcoholic foods. So that was my ease and comfort. And when I put down the food in the program, I realized, you know what, underneath the food, I'm seeking my ease and comfort from trying to control others and circumstances. That's what's underneath it. And we find that in step 3, where it talks about us trying to be we're the actor in the show and we're trying to run the whole show. We're trying to arrange the lights, the scenery, the ballet, the other actors. The director gets up, who's running the play, gets up and goes to use the restroom, and I run over to the director's chair and squeeze into that chair because I'm, very much overweight, squeeze into that director's chair and start screaming at the actors, telling them they're not doing it right, and the director comes back and I'm sitting there in the director's chair screaming at all the actors, telling them they're doing it wrong. Who do I think that I am? Right? So I realized at first it was the food. I sought my ease and comfort. I put the food down, and you know what? I started to feel better. I started to feel anger better. I started to feel fear better. I started to feel depression better. I started to feel all those things that I wasn't numbing out with the food. And life was hell. And you know what? This program is a beautiful, beautiful path that shows us the way, lights the way ahead of us to where we seek our ease and comfort on a daily basis, moment by moment basis. From what? From our higher power. And it's a beautiful way of life. And it is my own, and what I was doing before with the food was like I was chasing a mirage. I would run after this, thinking, I just need to get, if I can just get this food, then I'll feel better. And just like a mirage, I chased after it, and boom, I grabbed hold of it, and I came up with a mouthful of sand, because you know what? The food does not satisfy. It does for a few minutes, a few moments, and then comes what is it? The horrible, sense of guilt and self-loathing, and all the self-hate that I slathered onto myself, after eating, and kicking myself. That's a full-time job. The compulsive overeating is a full-time job. First we are thinking about the food. We're going to get the food. Then we're, going down a different aisle in the grocery store. So the grocery clerk doesn't realize that, yes, we are the same person who was here before buying for a party. Every day I'm buying for a party. It's not for me. No, I'm having this party, buying all this junk food. My kid is having a birthday. Well, then, it's my aunt's birthday. And, so I have to pick a different grocery store or a different grocery store clerk, so they don't realize that it's me. It's all for me. All this junk food that looks like it's for a massive party, it's all for me. I am so grateful those days are over. I had tears in my eyes going to the grocery store lately, because all the food I was buying was healthy. My cart now is full of healthy food. I go down the grocery store aisle. I don't have to be afraid that I'm going to see somebody that's going to walk up to my cart and say, "What in the world are you planning? What kind of party, what kind of event are you buying for? Because this is an outrageous amount of junk food." I don't have to worry about that anymore. My cart is full of healthy, loving food, and it's simply the most loving thing I can possibly do for myself. This program absolutely works. It is an absolute miracle. And there is no reason other than God's self, that this has happened. It is not on my ability. It is me throwing myself before God and saying, "You know what, God, I cannot do this. I do not have the ability, but you do. Please help me, God. Please help me. I can't, but you can. I can't. Step one. I cannot do this. I am powerless. I'm either guilty and worthy of being beat up by myself and others. I am worthy of, of being just kicked around and called horrible things by myself and others, or I'm powerless. It can't be both. So what is it? Am I powerless over this disease, or am I a guilty, horrible person? I'm a bad person. And that's just not true. The truth that I have discovered through this program is I am an infinitely loved, precious, precious child of God. I am loved beyond what I can begin to comprehend with my mind. Once my little son, I remember holding him when he was younger in a little blanket, and he was just, we would get up during the night to make sure he was okay, and he was just resting in my arms one day, and he had this beautiful little smile on his face, And the words came to me, Donnie, God calls me Donnie. Donnie, you too can rest with this deep peace, knowing that you are so precious to me and you are loved beyond what you can begin to comprehend with your mind, sweet one. Rest in my loving arms. All is well, sweet Donnie. All is well. And you know where I've heard these things is through program. Two-way prayer, that's something I started to practice as well. I'd never heard about that. And that was something that they did. Bill W. and Dr. Bob, they practiced two-way prayer back in the day. They would write down, excuse me a second. You know what? I forgot to time myself. I apologize. But I know somebody's going to tell me when I have 5 minutes left. Can you tell me how much I have left now? Anyone?
About 15 minutes.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to put that on here too. 15 minutes so I can just tell where I'm going. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. And now my memory, what was I saying? Anyway, two-way prayer. Yes, that has been super, super vital. And I am going to be talking more about this at this beautiful workshop that we're going to be having on step 10 that's coming up on November 10th. And Rita is putting that information in the chat. So if you want to hear more about listening for God and hearing God in your life and hearing what God has to say to you, please show up to that workshop. I would love to see you there. And it's going to be a wonderful thing. But that has been one of the most helpful things that I have ever done. And my version of two-way prayer, what I started even before I knew how to do a 10th step, was I would write a letter to God. And this was one of the most helpful things I've ever done for my spiritual growth and connecting with God, feeling God's loving presence. And basically what I would do is I would write down at the top of the letter, I'd write, Dear God. At the top, I would write down any verse or any something that jumped out at me that day that kind of spoke to me in some way. It could be a spiritual reading, just a little few words, or something that jumped out at me at in the For Today book or something. I would write that at the top, and then I would list out everything that bothered me, all my worries, all my cares, just list them one right after the other. Dear God, my son, I'm just worried about his future, whatever it was, I just write them all down. And then I would go through and I would cross off each one as I visualized myself turning it over to God. And so each one just, you can even visualize yourself like you're going into a post office or a UPS store, or I don't know what it's called over in Europe there, but somewhere where you're going to drop off a package. So you put the package on the counter, so I give this over to my higher power, and then I watch my higher power take that issue, turn away from me and put it behind them. And so anyway, so just however you do it, visualize yourself turning each one of these items over to God and then cross it off the list. Cross it off, scratch it out, because this is no longer an issue, because I've now given this over to God. I put this in God's hands. So I'd go through my whole list of what I was worried about, get to the end, and then at the end of the letter, I would say to myself, okay, if God were to speak directly to me regarding these issues, what might God say to me? And then I would just open my mind and write down anything that came to me. And amazing things, poured out onto the paper. What was amazing about it was the amazing love that I began to hear from my higher power. And if you have a problem with your higher power, or, not really sure about what your higher power is, just think about sitting in the presence of infinite love. It says in the big book, God is infinite power, infinite love. you know, just think about what would infinite love have to say to you? And then just start, writing anything. And it doesn't matter if it sounds silly. It doesn't matter, nobody's going to read this, only you. But what might infinite love say to you regarding these issues that you just turned over? And some of the things that I heard were sweet, sweet Donnie, and realizing God calls me Donnie. Precious Donnie, I love you, sweet one. I delight in you exactly as you are. You are my precious, precious sweetheart. And even your defects that you would call character defects, I find endearing. I love you, sweetheart. I am here for you, precious Donnie. Come here and sit with me and allow me to just hold you, sweet one. And tell me all about it. Tell me all about what's going on with you, sweetheart. I want to know. And please know, sweet Donnie, that I am here for you. And my love for you, sweetheart, is the greatest power that exists because it's who I am. All is well, sweet Donnie. Just rest your little head on my shoulder. All is well, precious one. All is well. And so that's what I would do in the beginning. And that has, I've carried that through into my 10th steps now. I will pause. And the 10th step for me is super, super helpful as well. That keeps me aligned with God's will and God's way. Because, I came in seeking my ease and comfort from food. Okay, I put the food down, and like I said, I realize underneath that I'm seeking my ease and comfort from getting life and others to go the way I know it needs to go. And that's where I'm trying to get my ease and comfort. That's how I'm trying to feel better, is getting the actors to say the lines that I need them to say, and getting my children to be the way I think they need to be, or my husband to be the way I know he needs to be. And don't you know they should be mind readers? So instead of that, program gives me the opportunity to seek my ease and comfort from my higher power, day by day, moment by moment. And where do we hear about this in the big book? Well, it starts in Bill's story. And Bill tells us to do these things. He says that, and this is on page 13, I was to sit quietly when in doubt, asking only for direction and strength to meet my problems as he would have me. And he's talking about the new God consciousness within. And common sense would thus become uncommon sense. So he's listening for God here. He is asking God, how would you have me handle this one, God? And that is what I do. So now my moment by moment practice of seeking God and listening for God and hearing God is pausing before I act. And it's pausing before I respond to somebody. And I'm pausing and I'm saying, God, please direct my thinking. Please give me the words, God. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. And those words in the big book go through my mind. These are thoughts which must go with me constantly. So I'm pausing rather than my knee-jerk reaction of telling my children how they need to be different or how they're not doing it correctly. Rather than doing that, I pause and I say, God, please direct my thinking. How would you have me handle this one, God? What would you have me say? Please give me the words. God is my director, so that means I am given my lines that I'm to speak. And when I'm confused, I can pause and say, God, what's my line? What would you have me say here, God? Help me to see this situation more like you see it. Help me to love this person as you would delight in me loving them. Help me to see my children more like you see them, God. Help me to see myself more like you see me, God. Help me to love myself and speak loving words to myself. Those words that you would delight in me saying to myself. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I am learning, is how to be loving, kind, and gentle to myself. Because when I do that and I receive the infinite love that my higher power wants more than anything for me to receive, then I can share that love with others. And God doesn't want me to waste my time beating myself up if I'm not doing this perfectly. And the reason is because I don't have the capacity to be a judge. I really don't. I don't see the big picture. I don't see like God sees. I don't know what this person, what trauma they've gone through in their lives that's having them act the way they're acting. I don't see the big picture. I can't judge anyone. And I certainly don't have the capacity to judge myself. And so God doesn't want me to waste time beating myself up. Just say, it's okay, sweet Donnie. Learn from it. Pick yourself up. Keep going, precious one. I believe in you. That's what God has said to me. I believe in you, sweet Donnie. You are my precious sweetheart. Even though, your faith in me may falter, I have always believed in you, Donnie. And I want nothing more than to help you learn and grow. All is well, sweet one. Just keep going. All is well. And this is a beautiful program. It's a beautiful program. And it's a chance for me to pause and, just like Bill, sit quietly when in doubt, asking only for direction and strength to meet my problems as he would have me. God, please help me to see this situation more like you see it. Help me to love this person as you would delight in me loving them, God. Please help me to see them more like you see them. Your will be done, not mine, God. Your will be done, not mine. How may I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. These are thoughts which must go with me constantly. So rather than jumping right in and forgetting, now I must say I do have the memory of a goldfish. So about every 6 seconds, I need to be reminded. And that's why I need all of you, to help me remember that God really is in charge. God really is running the show. So I don't have to. I don't have to be hyper vigilant. I don't have to be, thinking that it's all on my shoulders. The chapter We Agnostics, I told my sponsor first, you know what? I don't even have to read this chapter. I can skip right over step 2 because I already have a faith. And she said, okay, Dawn, why don't you go ahead and read the chapter though, and let me know how you might be acting during the day as if you're an agnostic. How you might be acting as if, the times that you forget that there is a higher power, that you forget and you think it's all on your shoulders to figure this out. And you're acting as if you don't know if God exists. You're acting as if you don't know that you are infinitely loved. And there is an infinite power who thinks you're the best thing, who thinks you're just so fantastically wonderful and delights in you exactly as you are. How about reading that chapter over and thinking about, how you might be acting as if you're not sure God is there or not? And I said, okay, that fits. I need this chapter. I need step 2. I need it every day on a daily basis to remind me that there is a God out there. There is a higher power much greater than me that is going to be giving me everything that I need to be able to do God's will exactly as God would delight in it being done. So as far as even with the food, I'm no longer relying on my shaky abilities. I'm relying on the creator of the universe's abilities. If it's God's most loving will for me not to pick up my alcoholic foods, then I'm going to be receiving divine help to be able to do it because God is in charge and really is running the show. And so it's not on my shoulders to do it on my own. I am now relying on the creator of the universe, and all I have to do is ask and say, I can't, but you can, God. And it's a beautiful way of life. God, I can't do this. I need your words. I need your eyes. I need you to help me to see this life more like you see it. And when I do that, then I can see everything, all the blessings around me. I can see what I'm grateful for. I can see the good that my children are doing. I can see the blessings that it is to have my husband here with me. I can give thanks for what is, and it's a beautiful, beautiful way of life. This 12-step program is the most beautiful way of life. It's the most loving thing that I can possibly do for myself. May each of us today reach out and trust that higher power by practicing. Faith for me is a practice. Trust is a practice. It's a moment by moment practicing, saying, I can't, you can, God. Please give me your words. Please help me to see this situation more like you see it, God. I surrender. You are in charge. I am not. Thanks be to God. And it's a beautiful way of life. Thank you so much for allowing me to share with you today. It has been a blessing to be here with you. May we all carry the message for those who are still suffering. Sending you all love and a big, huge hug. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Dawn. What a message of depth and weight. I'm just going to read a little bit, tiny paragraph out of page 420 out of the big book from the story, Acceptance Was the Answer. And it says, acceptance is the key to my relationship with God today. I never just sit and do nothing while waiting for him to tell me what to do. Rather, I do whatever is in front of me to be done and I leave the results up to him. However, it turns out that's God's will for me. I must keep my magic magnifying mind on my acceptance and off my expectations, for my serenity is directly proportional to my level of acceptance. When I remember this, I can see I've never had it so good. Thank God for a way.